Hello, everybody. My name is Roxtus,
And I'm Solgale.
and welcome back to another Dark Souls 3 video.
Woo!
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, and if you're wondering, yes, we have already played through our first playthrough of Dark Souls 3. That is actually on the channel in a separate tab. These two will be completely different from each other. But why we're replaying this is actually kind of more for growth, because I've learned quite a bit over even Elden Ring, and even during Dark Souls 3, I'm learning. So again, just kind of hopping off of knowledge, growing, learning, getting better there, and then also for you guys as well. Hopefully some new information comes, and also if you haven't played any Dark Souls game, maybe this will help going through Dark Souls 3 if you've never played Dark Souls 3 before.
Yeah.
So a little bit confusion there if you haven't seen those earlier episodes, or if you have seen those earlier episodes. Why are we doing another Dark Souls 3? It's just, this is a game that you could replay again and again and again, and it's really, really good. And every single time that you play it, you get better at it. Other story games, not so much. You can just play the story, and the story is the story, and it doesn't really change. But as Dark Souls 3 or even Elden Ring, there is some really good skill in these kind of games. It takes quite a bit of knowledge and quite a bit of effort to be able to actually play some of these games.
Yeah.
They're actually pretty difficult. Same thing too, I would have to even say with Rocket League. Rocket League is one of those it's a real skill based. I don't even know how to do Rocket League yet, but
No.
Rocket League is a really, really good one. But we're going to go ahead and get rid of the old games. We're going to go ahead and clear those out, and we're going to go ahead and start a completely new game and kind of go from scratch from the very start all the way to the very end of Dark Souls 3. So buckle your seatbelts and get ready for a long ride, because here we go. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Alrighty, let's go ahead and start a new game.
It's time to set the world on fire.
Yes, indeed. It is called Lothric, where the transitory lands of the Lords of Cinder converge. In venturing north, the pilgrims discover the truth of the old words. The fire fades, and the lords go without thrones. When the link of fire is threatened, the bell tolls, unearthing the old lords of Cinder from their graves. Aldrich, Saint of the Deep, Farron's Undead Legion, the Abyss Watchers. And the reclusive lord of the profaned capital. Yon the Giant. Only in truth, the lords will abandon their thrones. And the unkindled will rise. nameless, accursed undead, unfit even to be cinder. And so it is that ash seeketh embers.
And with that, welcome back to Dark Souls 3.
Woohoo!
Yes. Oh, I love it. I love the intro, especially with the Abyss Watchers. Rewatching that, I love the Abyss Watchers. The Abyss Watchers are such a good boss. And then Yorm the Giant. I love that.
Yeah.
So we're going to go ahead and we are going to go ahead and start a new game. Dependent on what you're kind of going for, you can go, if you're going to go spell build, Soul Gale on her channel, and which you can find in the link below. She's actually going to be going through, and she's going to be playing as a electric sorcerer this time around.
Pyromancer.
Pyromancer. And
That's why I said time to set the world on fire.
Yeah. And I'm going to be going ahead and doing the standard knight, I believe, for especially new players or someone that's just starting up the game and you just don't know what to pick. The knight is just always a very good, a solid based pick where it's like, hey, you know, I'm tanky, I deal damage, I don't have to worry about too much stuff happening. Knight is just very well rounded to start off with. So I'm going to be going ahead and starting off with the class of Knight. You can choose off of these guys here. They have varying stats. It depends on what you're going for, but for most melee people, most melee builds, the Knight is going to kind of hit the majority of the point there. If you're looking more for like faith build, you know, cleric, and also I believe the pyromancer. I'm not too much into the magical type builds here. I'm just gonna be honest there. I'm not very much of the magical type builds, but I believe the cleric and the pyromancer do very, very well. And especially you were trying out the cleric earlier and you were just saying this is not viable for the cleric because he doesn't start off with any early game spells to be able to use. So the pyromancer for you is a lot better in that term. So I'm just gonna go ahead and pick up the knight. Knight is really, really good there. And of course, you can change your appearance and kind of your fashion from there. You can change whether you're a dude or a female.
Yes.
And then, of course, you can change your age as well. But I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and change my appearance with my default. So I don't have to spend time doing anything there. Now, for Burial Gift. This is one thing that I kind of wanted to get a little bit more in depth here, and especially if you're new to the game, you're like, which burial gift do I go for? So I'm just going to go over each one very quickly, and I'm just going to give what they do. So Life Ring adds 7% bonus HP. Divine Blessing fully restores HP and cures ailments. So if you have bleed, frost, anything on you, which is kind of rare that an enemy is actually going to do that, it'll cure that. Pure Blessed Holy Water on Hidden Blessing fully restores FP. If you are a spellcaster, it will restore FP. I believe, though, it's a consumable, and as soon as you consume either of those will be gone. Same thing with the Black Fire Bombs. I believe like you get 5 or 6 Black Fire Bombs. It's a consumable, but it's very good, especially early if you're having trouble with the early game boss, Gundyr. It's very good early just to be able to take out that first boss, especially if you're having a trouble time with getting out the first boss. So that is actually a pretty good starter item if you're just having trouble all around trying to get started with the game. Because again, you can't level until you take out the first boss. So Black Firebomb is actually pretty good if you're brand new to the game and you're like, hey, I don't want to have to try so hard to beat the first boss. But again, when you use it, it's gone.
Yeah.
So if you use 3 with your first attempt and then you restart, you're going to be missing 3. So to get those Black Fire Bombs back as a burial gift, you'll just have to restart and keep on trying. So that's why I actually kind of void against it. Fire Gem is just an infusible that can go onto any of your melee weapons. You need to be able to get the blacksmith to be able to infuse, and then I believe you have to get some orb or something for that to be able to infuse that. Sovereignless Soul gives you 2,000 souls. Later game, you're going to be able to farm quite a bit of souls. You do not need something like the Sovereignless Soul unless you want some early levels, maybe potentially. Rusted Gold Coin, if you want to be able to farm like the Longsword or even the Iron Round Shield from the High Wall of Lothric, or some early game item that has a very absurd drop rate and has a very chancy drop rate. The gold coin will be used once. It'll have a duration of, I believe, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever it is. And it will up your drop chance, I believe, by 50 or 100. I forget which does which, whether it's the rusted gold coin or the basic gold coin. But it'll up your drop rate. So if you're having a hard time trying to get that iron shield or trying to get that weapon, it'll have a higher chance of actually dropping. Cracked red eye orb. This is for invaders. If you like to invade, if you like to go in and invade other people's worlds, this is a very good tool to be able to use. The white young branch, perhaps as offering a piece, can be used to blend into the environment, but only once. So again, with these bottom few, all of these are going to be consumables. All of them. So when you use it, it is going to be gone. For my starting gift, I'm going to start off with the life ring because I find it's the most consistent. But again, there are some ones that you have to kind of take note on. Black Firebomb. If you're going to have a hard time with a boss, especially early, go that. If you're going to actually just attempt the boss as it is as of itself, I would go the life ring because, again, it's just more consistent rather than if you run out of those bombs, you have to kind of restart. I believe this first start of the game. I'm not sure if it respawns as black bombs in your inventory. I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I think as soon as they're consumed, they are just gone.
Yeah.
And then rusted gold coin can be also useful as well for farming. But other than that, the other ones are kind of what they are. Kind of useful, kind of not useful. I'm just going to go ahead and use life ring.
Life ring.
And are you ready?
Finalized.
Alrighty.
Yes, start the game.
And of course, the opening cutscenes are just very, very good to even begin with.
Yeah.
All right, so right off the bat, I'm going to give some information on what things you kind of want to be looking for. One of the first things that comes into mind is the settings. When you're taking into account on audio, I'm going to say put the audio low to the point where it's almost dim, so you can just barely hear it on almost sound effects. And then for music and voice, you can have those a little bit up, but especially dim on sound effects, because whether you're going throughout the High Wall of Lothric and there's the shrieking guys, especially early, that will really upset you and it'll really put you on the panic mode. Especially for newer players, put the volume lower so that things aren't panicking you as much and you can have more of a grasp on yourself and have yourself more stable and steady when you're dealing with those type of situations. Having the sound so it's ramped up so that when something comes around a corner and screeches at you, it's blood-curdling cry, and it unnerves you, you're going to start panicking. Panicking is never a good thing to do. It's never a good thing to happen. So definitely look at your sound and put your sound down, and especially test it on the High Wall of Lothric. I'll show you guys where there's a spot where there's a screamer, and you can kind of go and test out your audio and make sure it's not too loud so that it's not unsettling you guys or disturbing you guys when you're playing. So that's a very good one to kind of look into, is definitely your audio. Second is your equipment. Your weight load also depicts how fast or how light or how heavy your roll is. If you're below 30%, I generally go for that point, trying to keep my weight load below 30%. This is a good point so that you can actually roll a really, really light roll. But again, getting rid of armor actually does reduce your overall flat defense. Flat defense, especially for every single piece of armor, is actually really, really good. But I'm going to actually opt, because I've played this game before, for the light roll, because it's just going to make my day a lot easier. So in terms of armor, for armor prioritization, certain pieces of armor will give you more armor than other pieces of armor. So in the category of armor, I'm going to go with the number 1 armor, which is going to be the knight. That's going to be your best priority, the chest piece armor. Your leggings is going to be number 2. Your helm is going to be number 3. And your gauntlets are going to be the number 4th priority in this category. Each piece of armor flatly adds, I believe it's almost like 70% base flat defense. So having anything in any one of these slots is really a good idea, because you're going to be able to up your flat defenses. This is a really good way just to up your flat defense, especially early. But again, I played this game before. I know kind of what I'm doing, not too well like what I'm doing, but I know it relatively enough where I can go ahead and safely unequip different pieces of armor. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of my gauntlets and other things until I can actually get below that 30% for a really, really light roll.
Yeah.
Also for shield, you can parry. The first boss is parryable. I'm going to actually go ahead and I'm going to de-equip that as well. It's just my playstyle. It's just how I like to play.
I already de-equipped the shield.
And then from here on out, it is just running till the first boss. We are going to miss everything on our first try. He ran at me, I ran at him, we both missed.
You missed me.
And the best advice I can give for any boss, and this is regardless of what boss you're going to go for, play passive, watch him. Number 1, watch him. And 2, back up and wait for them to actually charge you. For most cases, this is actually going to do pretty well.
Yeah. Alright, I'm at the bonfire.
I'm going to go ahead and go for the crystal lizard. You can go ahead and go for the boss.
Oh, you're getting the crystal lizard?
I'm going for the crystal lizard.
Oh, I have to go back and grab that later. I'll go for the boss. But first, I want this shard over here. Whee. There we go. Gotcha.
I am
Alright.
clipped into the ground.
Uh-oh. Hello, Gundyr. I shall remove the sword. Alright, I can hit him while he's heating up. Okay, I rolled.
Alright, not beautiful, but we did it.
Sweet. Okay.
But what happened there was I did the Riptos, and I ended up teleporting into the ground.
Oh. Okay. I did not mean to do that.
Alrighty, rest, and every time that we rest, we get our flasks back. So flasks are consumable, but they regen after every reset, after every bonfire. So when you rest, you reset. And then over here, there is a Titanite shard. So in the very beginning of High Wall of Lothric, there is going to be 5 in the cemetery. There's just this one up here on this coffin.
Uh-huh. Oh, are you kidding me? What? I died.
Yep.
I almost had him.
Everyone has. Yep. Yep.
Oh, I did perfectly fine in my test runs. And now I do horrible.
Oh, he's gonna do that. That is the thing, though, is if you're under pressure. He will get to you. Well, pressure will get to you.
Well, I wasn't under pressure, to be honest.
Oh boy.
Throw fire.
And there is Gundyr.